Hello, hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Hallo, Leute. It's been another year, which is weird because, man, years sure are passing faster than they used to. I'm getting old. Anyway, yeah, Happy New Year. It's very convenient to have DFA's birthday so soon after the new year, so I always get to wish you guys a happy new year as well. I already also saw some people in chat. So hi David. I hope you don't mind if you're still here. I made you a moderator just because I know who you are. So if there's any funny business while you're here, feel free to help out. And I already saw a bunch of other familiar names. I also already learned that the stream is about a minute and a half behind. So that's going to be fun vis-a-vis remembering chat messages relating to things that, well, with my pace, they're usually from about half an hour ago. Anyway, I'm not alone today, besides you guys, of course. And we have two little assistants joining the stream today. Currently, they're sleeping. They're a bit sleepy, but I'm sure they'll start walking around and maybe getting the zoomies. That'll be a bit challenging, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Yeah, so I guess for now I just have to like keep talking so you guys actually catch up. Because my head always tends to be a bit empty when I actually start. I'm not a fan of like sitting down and like writing a script or like a list of items on what to do, but maybe I should do that. I don't know. Let me take a sip of water. Oh, so yeah, but so if you are on Patreon, some of the people who are still supporting me on Patreon, which there's still people there. You already know parts of this. So I finished my referendariat. As a refresher, that's the like, some people refer to it as practicum, but that feels weird because practicum means internship in German, and so to me that always feels like it's not what it is, right? It's part of you finish university and then you have to do another 18 months of in-school training, and it's basically 18 months of people telling you what to do about stuff that after that period of time nobody will ever mess with again. Like, there's few jobs in which you are as free to do whatever you want while still being responsible to other people as a teacher. So to have those 18 months of you being beholden to everyone around you is very weird, and it's just basically 18 months of being told that everything you do is wrong. It's a bit over dramatic, but it can feel like that. Most of all, you're constantly being watched. So it's there's even if it's going well, and I would say overall it did go well for me. It's there's this like this base level of stress, and that's behind me. I finished in summer, like right before summer break, and so now I'm a finally like full-fledged teacher. No longer just have the degree, but now I actually also have the practical approbation, I guess. So yeah, so that's over, and I'm now actually teaching. In a position, without going into the details because I think those don't matter and are a bit boring, but it's a different position than I would have expected to be in. But I'm not mad at it. The kids I'm teaching um, are cool. Like, they're typical teenagers or even fifth graders. So there is a bunch of annoyance in there as well. But overall, they're very sweet, and I'm happy to be there. And so yeah, so that's been trickling on, and well, as you can see, I now have two babies. so the two little fluff balls you saw, one of them is enjoying pets right now, is they're Pepper and Chips, and they're two little tabbies. And beyond that, I don't really know much about what they are, because they are, well, I guess they're not really rescues. They're not from a rescue place. But a friend was cat sitting for somebody, and then turns out, haha, the cat's pregnant, and he wasn't planning on keeping cats because the apartment's too small, and really having that one cat for several months was a bigger commitment than he was actually comfortable with. So he had to, the kittens had to go somewhere. So now there's two in this house. And I was a bit hesitant originally because I didn't really feel like it was the right time to get kitties. But now they're here, and I'm glad they are. And they're really sweet, and they're sisters. And one of them's a little spaz, and the other is a bit more... Well, they're both girls, but the one of them is a bit... kind of a cliche he. Like, she's a bit clumsy and a bit dumb. And she eats everything you give her, including salad. She tries. She hasn't figured out how to get salad into, like, actually into her stomach, but it doesn't stop her from eating it again and again. And she fetches. I don't know why, but this lady here, the floofy one, she is obsessed with paper. Should have called her Paper instead of Pepper. So every piece of paper, if you crumple it up, she will chase after and carry around like it's the catch of the day. And then 2 weeks ago or so, she started playing catch with me. So now every time she goes to get a ball of paper, she brings it back, and she expects pets, and then she expects for the ball to be thrown again. So that's kind of my new life, and you could tell it's like I don't generally buy into the whole like my pets are like my children, but it definitely goes like the experience relates, at least insofar that I am now the annoying person who will always mostly talk about my cats. Like parents talk about their kids all the time. So I'll try to stop that and look at some chat. I just needed some chat messages to pile up. So let's see. I saw a funny little Russian turnaround of Deutschfüreuch, as in Euch für Deutsch. That, почему нет? Yeah, David said hi again. Riff said hi again. Another one of my mods is here. And a bunch of hellos. So hello, Megara. Hello, Arthur. We missed you loads. Aw. Well, my focus isn't on this channel anymore, but I do keep in mind to come back. Yes, more kittens. Oh, there's ads. Oh man, I don't catch up with how YouTube works anymore. But I guess there's ads on live streams. Did I set that up? I planned this thing yesterday, and then I just set it and forget it. Well, I hope there isn't too many, otherwise I'll have to fiddle with the settings, and that's boring. Hab schon 10 Jahre angefangen, deine Videos zu gucken. Wow, vor allem Storytime. Oh, fun thing about that. I recently decided to... You might remember, if you've been here long enough, that when I announced my hiatus, I set my Storytime videos, my listening comprehension stuff, to private, because I wasn't so sure about like whether I wanted that to be in front of student eyes, especially in that situation of like being exposed to a lot of judgment all the time, because you never know what a situation might turn into, and I wasn't, I didn't know what kind of kids I was going to have, etc., etc. So I have now decided that for the time being, I have set the stories that I would be like that that I still don't want my students to see necessarily, just because it's weird for them to like know stories about my life without me having told them. But yeah, but the ones where I wouldn't feel like it's uncomfortable for me for them to know them, I have now made them available for channel Mitglieder, what is it? Memberships for members, which isn't something I have announced, and I won't, because there's no effort in it. And I called the membership tier zu teuer für Kinder, too expensive for kids. So really, this is just an additional paywall, so it's not as easy for my students to access it. But if you want to access the story time, it's now $10. But once again, like it's the old videos, and I'm not gonna upload new ones, at least not for the foreseeable future. So this isn't like, yeah, it's just an option, and I'm fully expecting nobody to make use of it. Ja, jetzt bin ich schon ziemlich, to get back to Shane's comment, which this was sparked by, jetzt bin ich schon ziemlich fließend und habe meine C1 Goethe-Zertifikat bekommen. Danke und Grüße aus Südafrika. Ey, das ist super. Gut gemacht. Das freut mich sehr, dass ich da Teil von sein konnte. Hi, Brian. Brian, I think I've pointed this out before, but it doesn't matter. Brian sends me a message on Patreon every year to congratulate DFE on turning another year old. And now he's here in chat. So thanks, Brian. Always love hearing from you. Hi, Maxime. Thank you. Yes, I think they're really cute. Did you get a short haircut? Yes, Bob, I did. Well, I didn't get one. I gave myself one, which I think shows. But I've been wanting short hair for years. And I always felt like, oh no, it doesn't go with my face. It's going to make my head too small. Because like I have relatively wide / square shoulders. So in pictures, I had short hair once before when I was like in my teens. And I liked it, but on pictures, I always felt like it made me, I don't know. It made me look not good. And I'm still kind of finding my way into that part of it, because I really, every time I look into the mirror, it makes me happy and I feel good about it. But now when I see myself in pictures, I'm kind of having the same thing. But I figured I'm trying to move towards not letting what I think others might think of how I look limit how I enjoy being so much, if that makes sense. Because I definitely have like a warped sense of what I look like, as so many people do. And I don't think I've ever not had that. So it's what I think about how I look tends to not correlate with reality anyway, probably. And also, different people always think different things about how you look. So, yeah, I enjoy short hair. So now I have it. And yeah. I also enjoy the ambivalent queerness that comes with it, I have to say. Hadn't heard the word spaz in such a long time. You know what it makes me think of? And that's, I think, why I enjoy it. First of all, it's the word that comes to mind for this cat. She's fucking spazzy. Every night, she just gets the zoomies. Just by herself. Sometimes she pulls her sister into it, but sometimes she's just. And every time she does that sound, she moves like 20 centimeters. And then she jumps on the bed. And then if I like move towards her, she's like, and then she runs, but just a little bit. And then I run after her. And then sometimes she just sits somewhere and like you look at her wrong and she just jumps and sits like this somewhere. Or you try to pick her up and put her somewhere and she like starts doing this on your shoulder. And like she has now started climbing on everything. She has now started practicing walking on those monitors. Also, of course, staircase railings and shoulders. I've gotten a few scratches from that because she's not really that good at it yet. And yeah. Also, I used to play a game when I was a kid called Jazz Jackrabbit 2. Played it a lot with my sister. And you can play either as Jazz or as Spaz. And so now I am very drawn towards calling one of my cats Spazzy and the other one Jazzy, because it kind of fits, right? Yeah, Pepper. Come here. Hi, baby. She's more cuddly. Not that she doesn't get the zoomies, but she just enjoys life a bit more. But climbing never stops. Yeah, I guess so. My last cat, again, this is something that longtime subscribers might actually remember, got to be very old. So by the end, she was very like cuddly, but she didn't climb on stuff as much anymore. Maybe outside, I don't know. She also really loves the jelly bean massage. So a lot of the time, both of them actually, you will get fully spread little paws when you do this. Keep negative comments about my haircut to yourself, please. I don't need the input. It's so complicated to have long hair and you look lovely. Thank you. And yeah, kind of. It also bothered me that I never really did anything with it. You didn't see this because for videos I usually had it down and I styled it a bit because it's not that much of a deal when you're like sitting in one place. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Sorry, she's so cute. It's not that big of a deal when you're like sitting in one place and just moving your head sometimes. But I would always have it up in a bun, so much so that like because the darker parts showed more when I put it up instead of the light parts on top. If I put it down, some people would be like, "Oh, you bleached your hair," and I would be like, "No, this is just you just never see the light parts because it's always in a bun." So I figured, if it's up all the time anyway, and I've been wanting short hair for like 8 years straight, maybe I should just cut my fucking hair. And that's what I did. Think he frames your face. Thank you. I've been wanting. So I think my main gripe with it is that I don't have a cut jawline, right? I do have a bit of extra fatty residue. I do have a bit of a cushion under here. So I would, if I had like a cut jawline, like a real Chad, I would, no question. But yeah, with a soft face, it doesn't fit the vision of what I would ideally want a short haircut to look like. The tiny humps are so cute. Yeah, anyway. Well, thanks, Al. Literally everyone wishes they look like someone else. I guess so. We all do, don't we? Like, it's, for me, it's the prime example is always like, if you have curly hair, you want straight hair. If you have straight hair, you want curly hair for different reasons. And I guess it goes for a lot of things, yeah. I'm aware I can't really complain, but it's I think it's also a thing that people who others might look at and think, oh, no issues there, tend to be people who really have a lot of issues with how they look. And it's weird, like this is why I'm trying to not comment on people's bodies and looks beyond clothing or makeup, maybe, or jewelry, or something that they did. So like if you did something with your hair, then like, oh, I really like your hairstyle, or like how you styled today or something. I'm trying to not comment on like inherent body things anymore, because I don't think there's a few people who inherently get uncomfortable with compliments anyway. But I think intuitively, yes, compliments are nice and they feel good, but the harsh end of it is tends to be that, like, if for one reason or another you lose that characteristic, or you feel like you lost it, or I don't know, you start worrying, like, it immediately impacts your self-worth, especially for women. It's you start feeling like if that's what people point out about you, then it must be something that makes you the most dramatic version of it, I think, is that, like, it must be something that makes you worth liking or lovable, or, which of course isn't true, but you know. So I'm trying to not comment, whether it's, well, negatively. I think most people hopefully don't, but I'm also not that, like, that little criticizing thing, the typical thing, like, oh, you got a bit pudgy, which I would never do anyway, but that especially. But I'm also trying to not say stuff like, oh, did you lose weight? Like, if that thought comes up, it comes up, right? But I try to just keep it to myself, even if I think the person might actually enjoy getting that comment, because if they ever gain weight again, I'm going to have contributed to them then feeling like, oh, but when I lost weight, people noticed and I got compliments. So I know they're now judging me, whether it's not, or, whether it is that way or not. You have a happy chin. That is such a cute way I've never thought of it that way, and I don't think this is one of my biggest insecurities, actually. But that's a really cute way of putting it. You have a happy chin. Because it bounces, or that's a cute association. Так, короткая прическа, Кате надо прикнуть. Ну да. Of course. I mean, it is a big change, of course. I also, you see me once a year. Of course, it's definitely noticeable, right? But, yeah. I did cut it right before I started my new job. So my new colleagues, all of them have never seen me with long hair. Which is funny to think of, because I've had long hair, and, like, really long hair even at times, for the vast, like, majority of my lifetime. So to think there's now a whole group of people who only know me with short hair. I even got a comment from one colleague at some point when the sides had grown out a bit. I grew them out a bit for a theater performance I was in, because the role that I was playing didn't really, like, short hair didn't really fit. So I tried to grow it out as much as I could, which just kind of didn't look that good. So the sides ended up being, like, this long, maybe. It grew it out for 2 months, 3 months. 2 months. Anyway. And she was like, oh, no more undercut? Like, immediately, and it got noticed the other way around. Anyway, and yeah, easier to maintain, xenophone, yes. That also, I kind of did miss that as well. And even with the long part on top here, this is enough. Like, this takes long enough. Now, I definitely don't miss that. I also don't miss suddenly not getting through with the combs or brushes easily anymore, because the split ends are starting to come back. Even with relatively low maintenance hair. When are you going to get back to work posting videos? I am at work, man. That's why I'm not posting videos. Some of you noticed, I've been meaning to try and, like, make some shorts out of old videos, which for long-time subscribers won't be any added value. But in, like traffic-wise, it might help, because that's what YouTube is all about now. I mean, I even noticed it from my own, like, consumer perspective. I don't want to, but I end up watching a lot of shorts a lot of the time. I'm not on TikTok, but, it's the same thing. But, so yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about that. On the other hand, I think my channel is it's just dead to the algorithm. It's just This is the thing we do on here now. We do once a year streams, and beyond that, I don't think I'm ever gonna. There's no way to pull it out of the algorithm bog. Which, by the way, so I think I wrote about this. Yeah, it's in the title, and I wrote about it in the description. So there are a few videos that I figured we might watch together, because I saw one where I was like, oh, this might actually be interesting to watch for an audience that like wants to engage with German culture and stuff. I'm not sure it's culture, but it's definitely part of the pop culture narrative, society narrative that I don't think you catch wind of outside of being online a lot. But then I actually watched a video in my free time that really succinctly and like captures something I've been trying to say or saying for years, and it wasn't believed for years, and also didn't really like gaslit myself about for years. He puts that really well in terms of like what happens when a certain type of engagement happens or doesn't happen for your channel, just on the algorithm side, and then on the psychological side. The channel is alive in our hearts. Aww. How cheesy, Daniel. But I'm glad that's the case. Q hair for men. I'm not sure what you meant by that, Nixo. I assume that's how the name would be pronounced. Anyway. Oh, but Daniel, you, just catching that you saying you have to go to work. Catch up on the VOD. Happy New Year. Yes, Happy New Year to you again. Thanks for checking in. See you later. Have fun watching the VOD later. King Borgard says, it's always safest to compliment the other person's style choices. It's inherently a compliment to their intelligence and judgment. Exactly. Because then you're saying something about choices, preferences, choices about expression, self-expression, taste. And all of those are things that you can change. So they're attached to agency. So if you make a choice that then ends up not being complimented, you can make up your mind whether you want to make that choice anyway or not. But you can't really make choices about your face, and you can make limited choices about, for example, your weight. I've never felt like I'm fully in charge of whether I gain or lose weight. I have lost substantial amounts of weight in times where my life has been shit, but then I got a lot of compliments. So it was like, oh, at least I look good. And I had some very unhealthy thoughts of like, well, maybe if I need to lose weight in the future, I just need to make sure that I have a lot of emotional stress. Haha. And even just thinking that kind of non-seriously is not good. So yeah. There are exactly 42 of us watching you right now. Yes. The answer is 42. Okay. Let me see. So I picked out a few videos because I feel like, starting up a conversation based on material is a good idea, actually. I have one in German, relatively fast, about fireworks for New Year's, which has been a topic of discussion for a few years now. And then I have a video about Germany's biggest lolcow, which I haven't, neither of these two I have seen, so I have no idea if they're good or not. But it's basically a video about a big case of cyberbullying of a person who is not a very nice person themselves. But this has been going on for 10 years, maybe. And there's people who apparently have made it their life's work to harass this man. So yeah, in the current online consciousness of a German, it's very likely that people know about the Drachenlord. So that's another video I queued up thinking maybe. And then I just saw a video that I might regret even like considering. It's a 7-minute long video by a stand-up comic I haven't seen much of. Gianmarco Soresi is his name. Soresi. I don't know. I think he's American. It's 7 minutes and it says best of Germany jokes and crowd work. And the thumbnail is him doing a Hitler salute. And as someone who watches and enjoys a lot of stand-up comedy, I'm afraid this might just be another rendition of, oh, there's a German person in my crowd. Let's make a bunch of Nazi jokes. So I don't know if there's anything creative in there. But those are the choices we have right now. Jim, you're not going to bully me into posting more. I don't work that way. So yeah, stand-up compilation about Germans, which I'm hoping might actually give me some interesting material to comment on, but I'm doubtful, you know. And then there's the cyberbullying thing, and then there's the fireworks. No more fireworks in Germany for New Year's, please. Okay. Should I just make the choice for you? This is where it would be better if my stream wasn't as far behind as it is. Also, Hank Green might have something good. I don't know. I have to check. Because Hank Green often has good things. Böllenverbot. Oh, I heard it was super bad in Berlin again this year. It's just not a big surprise. It always is, I feel like. I don't think I've ever heard of a year when somebody was like, oh yeah, New Year's was totally normal in Berlin this year. Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's well known that like we cause a lot of air pollution on New Year's, and there's something to be said for every city just like doing their own big central firework that everybody can like watch from afar, which they usually better anyway, because there's some fireworks that normal people don't get access to. But yeah, then also it's tradition, and we've always done it that way, and that's always hard to get rid of. So yeah, tell you what, I think I'm just gonna start with the fireworks thing. And we're gonna see if it's good. He immediately started yelling at me. That's always a good sign. Let's go to our reaction page. Oh, so this is by channel Vincent. He's just called Vincent. He's an up-and-coming creator as of a few months ago. He's been getting shout-outs and reactions from a few other bigger streamers. And what am I doing? Why? I didn't mean to do that. And he makes good content, usually. Oh, damn, I forgot my headphones. Give me a minute. Because you don't want to hear this double, I assume. Yeah, I noticed. But, thanks for watching out for me. I saw, and then I was like, okay, but it's just the browser video they're gonna see anyway, so. Hi, Jorge. I remember you. Still learning German. Well, glad to hear it. Let's see how much you guys understand. I can turn on the subtitles. I don't know. Yeah, they're automatic, so they might not be good. Let's see. I'm also, I think, in the way of part of them. I'm gonna just go with my intuition of what I need to like translate, and we'll see if it's good. Oh, I need to. I want my headphones to be the audio device. God damn it! Where are they? They ain't here. Oh, I think they're connected to my phone. Hold up. Hold on a minute. Yeah, they're connected to my phone. Okay. One sec. Let me just figure that out real quick. Right quick. Okay, Bob. Well, see you later then. Enjoy the VOD. Hi, Lenny. I used the DFE alphabet video years ago when I started to learn German. 12 years later, I'm at B1. Slow progress. Yeah, I mean, if it's not your main job, language learning can... there's a lot of stuff that can interrupt language learning. Okay, now, let's see. Am I now listening on my headphones? No, that's my Wi-Fi. Yes, okay. I think I remember something of...
Hallo, meine lieben Freunde der viel zu lauten Unterhaltung und herzlich willkommen zu einer erneuten, völlig überflüssigen Bewegtbildproduktion. Verratet mir mal bitte, was das für eine absolute Rattenscheiße ist. Das ist aber wirklich nur die Spitze vom Eisberg und wir schauen uns jetzt gemeinsam an, was das eigentlich für ein einziger Fiebertraum ist. Aber frohes Neues an der Stelle, ihr scheiß Ratten.
Okay, so he uses a lot of colloquial language. So I might point out what the word Fiebertraum is. This has been getting a lot of use. So it means a feverish dream, being used a lot in recent years to like refer to stuff that's insane. So yeah, let's. I'm gonna be, because I never paid that much attention to what exactly all this colloquial. We'll see.
Kinder. Ja!
Ein frohes neues Jahr.
Frohes Neues, ihr kleinen Pissbuden, und herzlich willkommen zu dem Video. Ich weiß, ich wollte ein bisschen weniger fluchen in meinen Videos, wird heute nicht funktionieren. Das Rattenloch, was wir uns heute anschauen, gleich zum Jahresanfang, hat so einen immensen Umfang. Das muss mit Kraftausdrücken beschrieben werden, anders funktioniert es nicht, weil wir schauen uns heute wirklich nicht den verschissenen Kaffeesatz unserer Gesellschaft an. Es ist noch viel schlimmer. Es sind die Einzeller, es sind die Amöben der menschlichen Spezies. Es ist diese Feuerwerksfanate, komische Szene. Und ich lasse einfach mal Bilder für sich sprechen und wir starten ganz entspannt in dieses Video rein.
Yeah. The trash is another issue, that's true. Wait. Oh, that's legit fire. Good job, guys.
Wer jetzt aber dachte, wir starten direkt mit der Silvesternacht, der hat sich leider geirrt. Wir gehen noch mal ein paar Tage zurück und wir dachten, wir fangen jetzt da an, wo Lili seine Pforten geöffnet hat. Der hat schon wieder Scheiße gefressen. Wir gehen noch mal ein paar Stunden weiter zurück und zwar an...
Oh yeah, this was a thing this year. People were queuing at supermarkets this year to buy, and I mean, you might be able to tell from the sign up here. This is a Lidl, so like just, you know, like Aldi, just the cheapest discounter. Like this isn't like a specialized fireworks store. It's just a normal supermarket. And people were legit queuing at grocery stores to get fireworks this year in multiple cities, starting at like, I don't know, 4 or 5 a.m. to make sure they got some of the rockets. Partly because there are stores now who like decidedly like made a choice not to sell fireworks this year. I think there were already some last year, but yeah. But also partly because people overreact to everything. And yeah. So there were like firework hauls this New Year's. I don't know if this happened in any other part of the world. I didn't keep up on that. But it's been, like I said, it's been a topic in Germany. It's our version of they won't take our guns. Kind of.
Punkt, wo irgendwelche komplett verwirrten Campingstühle, Heizdecken, Thermoskannen
It's like back in the
eingepackt
day
haben,
when they would camp out to get the newest iPhone.
um sich Stunden vor verfickter Ladenöffnung vor eben jene Supermärkte zu stellen, um die Ersten zu sein, die ihre kleinen Drecksgriffel ins gut sortierte Feuerwerksregal reinstecken können. Ich bin eigentlich hier schon am Ende.
Das hier nehme ich auf jeden Fall alles mit. Also wir haben ja einmal Geld und Geld
Geld,
für
ja.
Einkaufswagen.
Eine Mütze.
Sehr wichtig.
Mal
Mütze,
Handschuhe.
weil das ist
What is that? Is that a lighter? Is that just a lighter? Or is it something more dangerous that I don't know what it looks like?
arschkalt draußen. So dünne Handschuhe, Feuerzeug.
Feuerzeug. Okay.
Muss natürlich immer. Und da haben wir noch
Muss natürlich immer. Always gotta have the lighter. Good to know.
eine bengalische Fackel in Blau. Die werde ich dann vorm Lidl zünden. Und wir sehen uns jetzt draußen.
Why?
Aktuell 5:17 Uhr.
Wir sind jetzt hier
This
wirklich
fucking sim being built in the background. Why?
low-hanging fruits, genau hier schon auf Mutter zu gehen, aber ich muss es einfach
Auf Mutter gehen means to insult somebody's mother. Also a term that's been popularized, not to say gentrified in recent years. I think I'm gonna turn it up a bit again speed-wise.
machen. Was zum Fick ist falsch mit euch? Also wie wenig Würde kann man haben, dass man stundenlang in der Kälte vom verschissenen Discounter steht, wartet, dass die aufmachen, um dann den Kassierern und Kassiererinnen das Feuerwerk aus den Händen zu reißen. Wirklich, wie so triebgesteuerte Eselgeburten sind die Leute da reingerannt, haben die Regale auseinandergenommen, haben Kohle ausgegeben in
This is
einem
embarrassing.
Maßstab, das
I find this
entzieht sich meinem
embarrassing.
Verstand. Es ist einfach nur gottlos. Die Kritik an Feuerwerk muss ich euch wahrscheinlich nicht erklären. Zum
I didn't buy any fireworks this year. I've never been there's some firework that I enjoyed actually lighting myself, but not to the point where I can't go without it. And I enjoy watching fireworks, but honestly, even if that didn't happen, it would be kind of sad because it's something you're used to. But I don't know. Is it that big of a loss? I don't know. How do you guys feel? Yeah, to me, it just feels like unnecessary upset. Wie wenig Würde? Yeah, okay, it's tricky because it always all spelled lowercase, right? Würde in this case should have been spelled with an uppercase W. Wie wenig Würde kann man haben? How little dignity can one person have, basically? Wie wenig Würde.
einen, weil ihr wahrscheinlich fähig seid,
So it's not wood in this context, it's dignity.
zwei Sachverhalte miteinander zu kombinieren, da einen Gedanken rauszuziehen und dann seid ihr schon bei der Lösung. Und zum anderen, weil eben diese Kritik nicht mehr nur in irgendwelchen super woken Kreisen formuliert wird, die einem das Feuerwerk verbieten sollen, sondern das ist mittlerweile auch in der verschissenen letzten Reihe angekommen. Jeder Mensch, egal wie dumm du bist, sollte in seinem Verstand mittlerweile die Idee vorfinden.
So he's basically saying, you know, the idea that fireworks is maybe not the thing anymore, isn't a super woke concept anymore. It's basically gone mainstream. That's why he's getting upset about people who don't want to accept that.
Dass Sachen anzünden, die wegwerfen und macht's laut Bumm, nicht nur nicht gut sind für den eigenen Geldbeutel, sondern auch scheiße sind für alle Menschen da draußen, die komplette Umwelt, Tiere und Natur und wahrscheinlich für die gesamte verschissene Realität, in der wir existieren. Es gibt aber tatsächlich Leute, die sagen, nee, das ist eine gute und wichtige Sache und die Argumente dafür, die sind dumm, jenseits menschlicher Vorstellungskraft.
Oh no. Oh no, it's one of those boomer memes. Oh no. Okay, hold on. Can I... It's painful to read from like a spelling standpoint. I'm not gonna get into the details of why. Böse Geister verjagen. Yeah, that's the best. They got me with that one. See, this is the so it is like I was tempted to make the comparison to the speed limit discussion. I don't know if you know this. There's been a discussion about whether to introduce speed limits on the autobahn for years now as well. Which it's not like there's no speed limits anywhere. There are plenty of parts of the autobahn where there are speed limits of different speeds. But there are, of course, stretches of the Autobahn where there's absolutely no speed limit, where you can technically go, I don't know, 250 or 300 kilometers per hour if your car can do that, which some cars can do, and some people do actually drive at for no reason, just because the car goes that fast. We've actually recently had a couple of scandals of influencers who filmed themselves, like posted, not just like recorded or took pictures and then posted them to Instagram while driving at 270 kilometers per hour. So not only endangering themselves, absolutely stupidly and unnecessarily, but also others, of course, at night, to add to that. So this being the extreme part of the reason that's admittedly not as generally relevant, and other things are good arguments for reducing the speed, actually putting a speed limit generally on the Autobahn, which, I mean, nobody's talking about having to go 60 everywhere, but I don't know, 130 kilometers is generally pretty fast. Even if you'd say 150, sure, but nobody needs to go 200 kilometers per hour, because you need it. I mean, you're gonna hit the brakes anyway. Okay, so people who are against Böllern, so fireworks. Böllern is a colloquial term for fireworks. Heulsusen. We're pulling the housewives into it again, because there's nothing worse in our general consciousness, at least in the minds of these stupid people. I'm not going to give them an arbitrary name. There's nothing worse in our collective consciousness than stay-at-home moms, apparently. Or just generally women who take care of the household. That's the worst thing you can be. Not just in the German mind, by the way. I mean, we all remember the whole, like, oh, the 50 Shades of Grey is a book that's only popular with middle-aged housewives, because that's an insult in itself, right? Anyway, and the last point is Angsthasen. So, I haven't used this word in a So, cowards. Okay, so now we know if all of the bad things are against fireworks. Oh no! Has there been no sound every time I switch to... Ah, shit. Ah, man. So, yeah, okay, so every time I switched, it didn't record it. So I don't know what all I talked about while switching to the other screen. Oh, man, I'm an idiot. This comes from not streaming often enough. I need to add... Let me just do that, okay? So this doesn't happen again. I need to add my microphone to the browser only. Okay, now we have sound for this one. Let me just, I'll put a quick comment in the chat since you're so far behind me. So, where is it? Here it is. Okay, so now you should be able to hear me on this screen too. I unfortunately don't remember what I was talking about, but basically what I said was all the bad things you don't want to be. So crybabies, people who elect the Green Party or vote for the Green Party, people who glue themselves to the street to protest climate change, activists of any kind, which those are, of course, the worst people, and unsatisfied, implying sexually unsatisfied, bored housewives, and scaredy cats. Yeah. I just added the microphone to that screen. Well, better late than never, right? So yeah. Anyway, so this is of course utterly ridiculous, but this is the sort of thing some people think is funny.
Das wurde übrigens genauso ins Internet geladen, also das Bild und die Musikauswahl dazu. Und jetzt könnte man sich wirklich überlegen.
So he said that picture, he didn't make either of those things. So that he didn't make that picture, and that picture together with the clip and the music was uploaded in that, like he didn't edit that together. Somebody else did. Assumably somebody of the opinion of the picture. Sind Feuerwerke keine Angelegenheiten für die Hausfrauen, endlich ihre Häuser niederzubrennen? Maybe it's just a creative way to commit insurance fraud. Who knows? Oh, man. Yeah, well, housewives are the worst. Am I right? Fuck moms. Ugh. My cousin who's German always takes her dog and goes to the seaside on New Year's Eve because fireworks drive the dog crazy. Yeah, I mean, that's a common experience of pet owners here. Like, on New Year's Eve, all the blinds were down, and the TV put the TV on for the cats, so they wouldn't get scared like crazy on their first New Year's. But I mean, at least when I got home, they seemed perfectly okay. Just yelling for food, but they do that every minute of the day. But yeah, there's a lot of dog owners who like leave civilization because it's a lot, especially in cities. If you don't have a desensitized dog, they're not gonna have a good time on New Year's. I don't understand why people create war zones. I've had to run away from the streets in New Year's Eve, both in Prague and Amsterdam. This didn't used to be a problem in Portugal, now it's starting to be. Hi, Minibus. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I mean, we had fireworks when I was growing up, but it never, like, the worst thing that happened, and we were kind of collectively annoyed with him for this. Like, a friend of mine one New Year's Eve when we were celebrating without our parents already, he like put a rocket in a bottle, but it wasn't secure enough, or like he tipped it over accidentally and it like shot down the street and it almost hit a car. Didn't hit any people, but could have. So that was proper dangerous. And it wasn't on accident, it wasn't on purpose, obviously, but like, drunk people are stupid, and especially some boys who never learn to act responsibly around shit that can actually kill you aren't that responsible in their late teens either. So that was, admittedly, I think that was actually already over the top. But we had clips in this video alone of like legit fires going on and etc. No snow for Christmas here. Other parts of the country, yes, like higher up. The closer you get to the Alps, the higher the likelihood of snow. But yeah, no, we didn't even have snow for New Year's this year. Some snow yesterday, but it started melting as soon as the sun came up. Slowly, but yeah. No winter wonderland. In Switzerland is also a problem. You always need to care for all the animals. Yeah. There are calls to legalize it, but still all talk and no action. Yeah, it's this. So that's the same as here. So far here, it's like individual decisions of retailers to sell or not sell. Which honestly, as capitalism reigns, I am surprised there are shops that. I saw a picture, like a photo. Somebody took a picture of a sign outside a Rewe, which is a big supermarket chain. They could definitely afford to not sell it generally, but it's a franchise, right? So they're all run by different people. So the people who run the individual markets make those decisions. So I think it shows a high amount of annoyance among a relatively large part of the population that there are supermarkets who are just straight up like, we do not sell fireworks, period.
Was für einen komisch gewachsenen Stammbaum hat die Person, die das ins Internet gerotzt hat. Aber ich glaube, es ist relativ klar, wer Unmengen an Kohle ausgibt für Feuerwerk. Und ironischerweise sind es ganz oft genau die Leute, die sich
people who spend like hundreds to thousands on fireworks. Fucking insane. Like get people Christmas presents with that money.
Stellen sagen, wegen den Grünen ist alles teuer geworden, um dann am Jahresende einmal komplette Nebenkosten für ein Jahr in bunten Knallpeng aus dem Fenster rauszuwerfen. Junge, diese Leute, die sind nicht nur unfassbar dumm, nee, die sind vor allem egoistische und unsolidarische Rattenkörper. Wir können hier an der Stelle...
Körper, just to be clear, Rattenkörper is not a common insult in German. Rat body. But, I mean, it works. In Mexico, you could buy very dangerous fireworks. Actually, there is a big market that has been on fire multiple times. Oh no, people have died. Market's still open. Yeah. Guess that's... That worse is always an option, I guess, yeah.
Stelle aber schon mal kurz festhalten, es gibt keine rationalen und logischen Argumente dafür, Feuerwerk zu erwerben, das anzuzünden und im besten Fall noch von sich wegzuwerfen. Aber es gibt noch eine andere Ebene und das ist tatsächlich die der politischen Praxis.
That's basically what he said, literally lighting money on fire. Is like there's people complaining about everything getting more expensive, which it has, and blaming the wrong politicians or political parties for it. Holy shit. Sorry, Zelensky, die Raketen bleiben im Land. Sorry, Zelensky, our rockets are staying in, like, with us. What the fuck, man? Nobody asked you to get political about it, but you just had to go there. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and he says, and the same people who like complain about like, oh, the Green Party is causing inflation, which is absolutely nuts, are the ones now throwing hundreds to thousands of euros out, just like, lighting it on fire. Literally.
Es gibt da draußen relativ viele Leute, die Feuerwerk mittlerweile aus irgendeiner Form von politischem Aktivismus herauskaufen.
Fireworks are now political.
You not, wenn ich euch erzähle, dass ich mal eine Kollegin hatte auf Arbeit, die in der Mittagspause zu mir meinte, sie hat irgendwas von Grün im Fernsehen gesehen. Das hat sie so sauer gemacht, dass sie danach zu Aldi gegangen ist, sich die billigste XXL-Packung Chicken Nuggets gekauft hat. Die hat sie sich in den Ofen gefeuert, um es denen da oben einfach mal zu zeigen. Und da merkt ihr, wie verloren die Menschen sind. Und genau nach derselben Metrik gehen Leute zu Lidl und geben Tausende von Euro aus. Weil es geht auch gar nicht darum, was die Kritik inhaltlich eigentlich ist, ob das logisch ist oder nicht. Nein, es geht um den Sprechort. Woher kommt die Kritik? Und das ist der ideologische Feind. Aber lassen wir uns das einfach von den Leuten selber erklären, weil die können...
So, really good. So, he makes a lot of political content, or like... takes silly stuff and like points out the politics behind it. So I think that was about a lot of big words said very quickly. So basically what he said, it's not like the reason people are so obtuse about this, and this I think is true for a lot of things, is because it's not about the facts or actual arguments. It's purely based on who is criticizing this thing. So it's the culture war has fully arrived in Germany, by the way, if you weren't aware. The culture war, which that word has been around for a while, and I guess it fits, but like, just the word is annoying to me. So based on who says fireworks are bad now, that's the basis for people deciding whether they like fireworks or not. I've been watching DFE for at least 10 years. You provide amazing resources. Thank you, which I keep coming back to. Dankeschön aus Australien. You're welcome, Adrian, and thank you for letting me know. And over 10 years, I'm always amazed at how many people there are who have actually been consistently here since the very beginning, basically.
Scheiß auf eure Umwelt. An Silvester wird selbstverständlich geknallt, auch wenn das hier noch bei weitem nicht alles ist.
Yeah, okay, so fuck your environment. Of course we're gonna light up fireworks on New Year's.
Aber es wird selbstverständlich ordentlich Geld für Knaller ausgegeben. Und dafür gebe ich auch
Hau rein,
Geld
Bruder.
aus. Das ist Tradition, das macht Spaß.
Scheiß mal auf eure Umwelt, ich will Tradition und Spaß. Sagt übrigens die 1,40 große Pissbirne, die aus dem Umfeld von Adlerson und Konsorten kommt. Wundert mich jetzt nicht, dass da so Takes vom Stapel gelassen werden. Aber Bruder, ich bitte dich, wirklich die einzige Tradition, die du hast, ist dir 3-mal die Woche in die Hose zu scheißen, Junge. Also, wem willst du hier eigentlich irgendwas erzählen?
Aber wofür ich nicht gerne Geld ausgebe und worüber ich mich zu Recht beschwere, wenn die Butter 2,50 € kostet, wenn der CO2-Preis bzw. die CO2-Steuer, die Abzocke, zum 1. Januar wieder steigt, wenn die Krankenkassenbeiträge wieder steigen zum 1. Januar. Darüber beschwere ich mich und das zu Recht. Warum? Weil das alles aus ideologischen Gründen passiert.
Digga, oh Gott, bitte halt doch deine Fresse. Es kann ernsthaft nicht wahr sein. Da steht da dieser kernbehinderte Gartenzwerg im verfickten Supermarkt mit Feuerwerk unterm Arm.
It's always funny to me how the people who complain the most about everything being political now are the ones squeezing politics into everything. I'm so tired about everything becoming part of the culture war. Like, you know, Green Party or whoever it is. Somebody says, hey, listen, this is actually a bad thing and we should maybe stop doing it because data shows that we're killing our livable environment faster. And some douche on the other end of the aisle other side of the aisle will go, this is political now. These facts are political. I don't care that this is the truth. I don't care that these are facts. You're just being woke. So then no, I will do the thing that you say is bad. Yeah, same. Of course, yeah, health rates are going up, but it's nothing to do with ideology. It's just that our social systems are collapsing because we are simultaneously, there's too many people. Sorry, my cat just did something very cute. So there's too many old people for too few young people, which is happening in a lot of countries. And at the same time, we are making it less and less attractive for people to immigrate into Germany because racism is apparently now acceptable again. So yeah, this not really like the state didn't go, hey, let's maybe, you know what would be a good idea? Let's make health insurance more expensive for everyone. That's a good idea because socialism, I guess.
Stammelt sich da irgendeinen ab, dass jetzt Klimaausgleich ideologisch wäre. Bro, spürst du eine einzige Zelle in deinem verschissenen Mistkörper?
Angry.
Wie kann man so eine Kacke labern, aber die Kirsche auf der Torte aus absoluter Vollscheiße, ja, die erwartet uns noch.
Warum wird die CO2-Steuer erhoben? Natürlich, weil damit natürlich das Klima gerettet wird, wenn man mehr Geld bezahlt. Nein, dafür müssen ganz andere Dinge bezahlt werden. Zum Beispiel die Millionen Illegale, die versorgt werden müssen, wenn sie in unser Land kommen. Wenn die Krankenkassen die Beiträge erhöhen, dann natürlich bei
Hey, so everyone in chat who immigrated to Germany, I have bad news for you. You are the reason why the climate is bad. According to this man, who knows everything because he bought all the fireworks.
Millionen neuer Leute im System sind, die unterstützt werden müssen, die finanziert werden müssen.
I'm sorry. No, I misrepresented his point. So the reason there's a tax for based on how much CO2 you produce in your production isn't because that's a counter incentive to just willy-nilly using whatever it's cheapest and looking out for more environmentally friendly ways to produce things. No. It's because of all the immigrants who, because money, everything's an agenda. That's the important part.
Das müsst ihr natürlich im Endeffekt mitbezahlen. Deswegen wollen wir
And in case it's not clear, I'm being sarcastic. This is a heaping pile of BS.
geschlossene Grenzen, niedrige Preise und deswegen wird selbstverständlich am 23. Februar AfD gewählt. Was auch sonst.
Ey, perfekt, Digga. Wirklich, erstmal übelst geile Brandrede, die du da irgendwo im Supermarktgang von dir gelassen hast. Ostdeutsche MLK. Waren auch nur 8 Sprachfehler dabei. Merkt man auf jeden Fall, dass der deutsche Volkskörper vielleicht die ein oder andere kaputte Bindung hat, die zum Hirnstamm führt. Anders kann ich mir das Scheißgelaber auch wirklich nicht erklären. Und ich könnte jetzt anfangen und dir versuchen zu erklären.
Oh no, we're only halfway through. Okay, I think we get it. I think I might watch the rest at some other point or not. Oh, looks like he ends up talking to somebody who's part of the firefighters. But I think we get it. Lighting fireworks has always been a thing in Germany for New Year's Eve, and now it's become a matter of pride and politics, which seems to be basically everything now, where somebody ends up going, hey, maybe this isn't such a good idea. It's now a political issue. Bei der Tradition gab es wenige Leute und könnten sich nicht so viele Feuerwerk leisten. I'm not sure I get what you're saying, Lenny. So, wenige Leute bei... Oh, you mean as like when we started doing it, there were fewer people. Yeah, that's true. And we didn't know any better. I mean, that's never a good excuse, but it's just kind of true, right? I mean, there were people who knew better, but they probably just averted their eyes. But I think for the general public, it's true that like for years we didn't know it all, or we weren't aware, or we didn't make the connection that maybe blowing tons and tons, literally, of smoke into the air once a year isn't just gonna evaporate the way that it seems to, because the next morning you come out and there aren't any smoke clouds anymore. Like, we could have guessed that, but we didn't, so sure. But you're right, yeah, first of all, it's more people, but even if it weren't, right, then doing something just because it's been done before is not generally a good reason on its own to do anything. I broke into the Bundestag to change the bill to increase the CO2 tax. It's me. Oh, thanks for finally taking responsibility, Aries. Somebody had to just come out and say it. At least we know who to blame now. That's the most important part. How came you decided to do the live stream on a Monday? I have to go to work now. Oh, I'm sorry. I always do it on January 6th. Last year that was Sunday. This year it's a Monday. Next year it'll be a Tuesday. Because this is the day of the year that I uploaded my first video to the channel on January 6th, 2013. So, it's the anniversary. I could think, like, consider, and I might in the future, to, like, change it to the Saturday that is closest to the 6th or something. I might consider doing that in the future. Today is convenient for, like, I can do it today because it's convenient for me in the sense that I'm still on Christmas break. So to me, it doesn't matter that it's a Monday. But, yeah. What's the plan for DFE in 2025? I missed the start of the video. Well, there isn't much of a plan, really. It's the same it has been. So I don't know how aware people are of this, but, like, hold on, let me just, I think I can go back to this screen for the time being. I started this thing never really with the intention of, I mean, you never know what happens, right? But I was always sure that I would finish my studies and pursue my career choice as planned. And since I did that, I started doing that last year. Now I lost my train of thought. Since I started doing that last year, I put this channel on hiatus and the status hasn't changed. And I also have to say, I enjoy coming back to social media, or like to being a creator, I would say. I can't pretend like I'm not on social media as a consumer. But like coming back to being a creator every now and then is very nice, and I'm very blessed to have you guys, like to have people around who, like, when I show up are like, oh, that's great, I'm gonna go join and see what's up, you know? That's really nice. It's just a nice thing to have. So I really appreciate that that's still a thing for me, you know, that that's a part of my life. But as much as I enjoy checking back in, at least right now, I can't ever make definitive statements about the future, but for the time being, I enjoy not being like in the hustle anymore. Because being a creator is a lot of work and a lot of stress and a lot of like mental load. I do want to say, because there's been some creators in recent years, or maybe always, I don't know, who like come out and say like, this is such hard work and not everybody could do this. And that's true in some ways, but not in the sense of like the work itself isn't, I would say your pay per hour, if you want to break it down that way, relatively quickly gets to a really good ratio. But the stuff that comes with it, especially if you want to do it responsibly and non-exploitatively, which unfortunately a lot of people don't do, but which has always been important to me, there's a lot of like, it's not invisible labor. That's a term that exists, but it's not appropriate here. There's a lot of stuff that goes into being an active creator that goes beyond creating content. And that's the stuff, and I've talked about this before, that I do not miss. I've never liked. There was never a point in doing this actively where I was like, yay, I also now I get to make an Instagram post to promote this, or like, yay, I get to look at my analytics and wonder why this video didn't perform as well as the last one, or, you know, that's never been something I enjoyed, and it's also never been a neutral. It's been an active negative for me. So that's the stuff that I do not miss. I, let's say, fantasize about just casually making videos every now and then again. And that's something I still don't want to, like, exclude as a possibility. But as for concrete plans in 2025, there aren't any. Like, if that was the main question. I'm here, I'm reachable, and I might show up in one way or another. But, yeah. Being a YouTuber is harder than it seems. It is. It is. Depending on what's hard for you, right? I feel like there's some people who aren't as affected by some things that might be tedious or tiring or stressful for me, and the other way around. I'm a creative more than a business savvy person. I think I should move the chat. Hold on, because I used to be positioned differently. Yeah, that's better. So the part that I enjoyed and enjoy about being a content creator has been creating stuff and putting them and myself out there. So it's maybe not just, because I think there's also people who are like pure creatives who also don't enjoy the putting themselves out there part as much, which that's obviously not true for me. I've been sitting here just talking my mouth off for over an hour now. I also enjoy being a performer. That's part of being a teacher as well. I very much enjoy the theater of it all. You know, there's a reason why I also do theater. But what I do not enjoy whatsoever, and I know there's people who legitimately care about that part of it, like, and take joy from it and like are good at it because of that. The back end, the analyzing and the optimizing and the you know, even the talking to sponsors part and stuff, that I can deal with, kind of. That was never my favorite part either, but what I liked about that also is making connections, because I like people. So like dealing with people in general wasn't the part that bothered me, but the like business side of it never brought me much joy beyond feeling like this is something I can do now. Like I recently did some translation work off the cuff and just spontaneously. And it wasn't like I had to negotiate a lot, but like the professional back end of like, okay, hey, I need this, or can you confirm that? And like the lingo and the goings on and the looking ahead to like, okay, are you gonna need this and that and this from me? That's stuff that I learned by doing the business end of DFE, and it feels satisfying to feel competent, but that wasn't the part that was enjoyable. I think we're all glad that you come and meet us every so often. Yay! And don't just disappear. It would be great to see you more often, but you should prioritize your own stuff. Yeah, and I always have, and I mean that's also why there have been like dry spells in the past, even while the channel was active. I'm also still on Patreon. There's been an option to join Patreon for free as for a while now, so you can join the DFE Patreon as a free member, so you won't get charged anything, but you could still see the posts, I think. Not the rewards, obviously, because those are for the paying people. But I post there every month. Not necessarily anything worthwhile, but I give more signs of life over there. And yeah, I mean, I enjoy it, and I'm every month, because I do those posts, it also makes me consciously take inventory of the fact that there's still people who watch my videos and new people who come on. Like, even after 2 years of hiatus, like I'm barely making an income from the views anymore, but there's still people coming in and deciding to follow. So people are still finding the channel. They're not sustainable numbers if I ever wanted to like get back into this as an income source, but DFE still hasn't. I still haven't had a negative month. Like there still hasn't been a month where I've lost followers. Now, followers are not meaningful in any way anymore, like metrics wise. But to me, it just means there's still people who follow, and I've also been seeing an influx of people on the Patreon for like who follow for free. And that's just nice. It's nice to still feel like relevant, even though while I was still actively doing it, I did towards the end, I felt the sting more and more of not getting the recognition I would have liked to have, and not getting the recognition mostly. Like feeling like, okay, so much more people could be seeing this, but they aren't, and that's frustrating. My most watched video is the alphabet, because it's the oldest and it's episode 1, so I think that's why. I think for a while it was the curse words one, but my suspicion is that got actively discouraged by the algorithm as soon as that was possible, because it's openly about curse words. To be fair, it's very tame. It's not anything worth like censoring. I also think it's interesting that like I have a disclaimer in front of that video when I put it up in 2013. But for different reasons. This wasn't for like any apocalypse reasons. This was because having grown up with YouTube, like having been on YouTube from year 1, I back in the day felt like there were parts of the YouTube audience that was still like dominated by Americans that would have taken offense and like downvoted and etc. A lot at a video dedicated to curse words. So I tried to like preempt that by being like, if you don't want to see that kind of thing, that's fine, but then don't watch it. So whereas nowadays I would, if you were to put a disclaimer like that in front, I think it would be for very different reasons with very different things in mind. So that's an interesting development to watch as well. If you can post a short or 2 over the year, it would be welcome. Yeah, I mean, I will post whatever comes to mind. I've also noticed that, like, because I don't actively engage with, like, oh, I need to make content anymore, I'm not in the habit of thinking of topics to make videos on anymore. That's also been interesting, because that was just a solid part of my life all the time, of like just seeing a topic for a video whenever there was one that occurred to me. And now I just don't think about it anymore. And I will say that in large parts, I think that has been healthy. I do miss parts of this, for sure. And I've noticed that I think parts of my negative self-image that have been like creeping back into my life were helped by being online. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure if it's worth analyzing either. But like, I've noticed that there were parts of this that I miss. And then I know there's parts of it that I am so thankful I don't have to deal with anymore. Yeah. You have a knack for finding specific things about the German language that are not self-evident. Well, thank you. And that's the stuff that I always enjoyed as well. And I think if shorts had been a part of YouTube already when, like, closer to when I started it, I would have made more stuff in like short format, because some stuff you could easily put into like succinct little things. For example, the stuff that the Vokabelspritze stuff I made. So then I used the longer videos to like give more examples, etc., or like add little jokes. But that's kind of the thing that kind of inspired the channel originally too, because I think I do have a unique, or at least so my own way of approaching things and like thinking about things and like noticing things about language, because that's what I enjoy. I really like language. So yeah, it's nice to get not confirmation, Bestätigung, different word for it. It's nice to get reassurance, or not affirmation. Like it's nice to get that feedback, validation. Like nice to get validation for that. Also, with all the other language channels, it's a matter of diminishing returns. That's that as well. I also, as far as I'm aware, at least, this is a thing that a lot of language learning channels have been experiencing across the board. And also, legitimately, it's just, this channel is broken, algorithmically speaking. And I think it was doomed to go that way, as are many language learning channels, if not most, if they're not like pure edutainment. Because a tendency people tend to have is they subscribe, and I've done this myself. You subscribe to a language learning channel with the full intention of like watching the content and studying. But just because there's an upload doesn't mean that you're currently in the right headspace or have the time to like watch. So then that means a lot of people will see a new upload of a language channel and not immediately click, or not click ever, but like maybe see it and be like, oh, cool, I'll watch that later. And maybe they do watch later. But what the algorithm keeps learning is, no, people subscribe to this, but they don't deem this channel worth returning to. So then for the algorithm, the message is, well, this is not a good channel. This is apparently not a channel that makes good quality videos, because people don't return to watch. So then the channel gets dumpstered by the algorithm. So then it gets shown less. And then if that cycle continues, the exposure gets smaller and smaller and smaller. Like by the end of my active time, for a few years, I didn't get any exposure to new eyeballs, like barely. I got barely any recommendations. Like when you're just browsing YouTube, there was barely any of my videos showed up unless you had watched a lot of them recently before. Like that's just a thing that happens. And that's symptomatic for a channel like this one, because I never set out to make videos that like necessarily keep you to have one session during which you watch 10 of my videos. I mean, I'm sure there's people who did that, but that's not really what I aimed for. or what my content lends itself to. There's not bingeable content. If you watch one video about a complex grammar topic, you're not gonna want to watch 3 more. That's just too much. You're not gonna retain it. So yeah, it's sad, but the channel is old, which is a negative indicator for the algorithm as well. And there are multiple layers of the cycle of people subscribe but they don't come back. Funnily enough, my channel has a very high ratio of people watch a video of mine and subscribe. Like the watching of a video inspiring a subscription, like the conversion of viewer to subscriber is very high for my channel. The problem is that YouTube no longer cares about that metric as a basis for promotion. So that's nice. And I think on the basis of like, oh, this is a useful resource, and that lines up with the feedback people still give me, that's good. You know, for me, that's the thing that I want. But the thing that YouTube wants is to keep you on the page for as long as possible, so you watch as many ads as possible. Which I also try to not like. I've seriously considered taking ads off of videos now that I don't use this as an income source. Especially because I don't make much money from ads anymore anyway. But then it gets further de-incentivized, because like as soon as you don't have ads on your videos, unless you're a new channel who might just not be eligible yet, then they are now, like recently they started promoting small channels, because the more channels that are there that are eligible for ads, the more ads potentially that get watched, right? But if you're an old channel and you just don't turn on ads, they're not going to promote you, because why? They're not going to make money off of you. So I did a few things that are not good. But mostly it was an unfortunate cycle that's owed to the type of content I make. But the type of content I make or made because that's the type of content I wanted to make, not because I wanted to get big under all circumstances. Because that too isn't enjoyable to me. There are people who are just in this to find the best way to go viral. And there are ways to engineer that. Not 100%. Not if you put limitations on yourself, as in certain specific type of content. But there's a recipe you can figure out. I don't think I could. But if you're willing to do whatever it takes, yeah. I think Nebula is great. I don't think I am profitable enough for Nebula, and I also don't think my education goes into the right direction. To be fair, that I'm not 100% sure of, because I still haven't gotten a Nebula subscription. Funnily enough, I considered applying for a job, like not as a creator, but like as on the team when I was like in between my stages of education. Like a couple of years ago, I checked out their job offerings, and there were some quite attractive ones in there. But I never ended up applying. So I would love to be on Nebula, but I don't know anybody. Like I I know ContraPoints in passing. Like we had a bit of a DM exchange once, because turns out we used to watch each other's videos at approximately the same time. Just weren't aware of it, because she never commented on my videos and I never commented on hers back then, which I low-key regret. Yeah. Hi, Jack-o'-lantern, by the way. Gartic Phone. Oh, that's right. We ended up playing Gartic Phone. Do I want to play? I don't think I have the patience, honestly, right now. Have you guys ever played Jackbox games? It's been a few years since that was like en vogue. We could try that. Let me see if anything's installed though. It isn't, so I would need to do that. We could definitely do that if people are around and wanna do that. Okay, let me catch up on a few questions. I always get lost in like talking too much. Don't be sad for what is gone, because be happy because it happened. Yeah, I mean, looking back, the best year and the most exciting time with this channel was really early. Like, first half year. So luckily with this channel, there was never a period where I was just completely stuck in nobody's watching this. It started picking up relatively quickly, and it took me 6 months to get the first 1,000 people. And it took another 1 or 2 months to get another 1,000. And from then, and I think by the end of the first year, I was at 10,000 subs, which at the time was more meaningful than it is now. Because the views were congruent with that. And that was so much fun. I remember that because it kept moving up and up and up. And I remember even back then thinking, okay, this has a ceiling. This has a ceiling where it's going to start stagnating. So I need to like not settle myself into the expectations that this is just going to keep happening. The ceiling happened earlier than I would have liked it to. But I think at the time this was owed to my life just getting very complicated and emotionally stressful for a while. So I had less energy to do what I wanted to do with the channel. But yeah, the first few years were definitely the most exciting. And I wish I had taken some of the stuff in the later years less to heart. And I knew at the time that I should take it less to heart. But that, to get back to the whole like being a YouTuber is harder than it seems, I think that's the hard part, to not take it personally. Because even when you are aware that you shouldn't, it's so hard not to. Because you always feel like, what am I doing wrong? Like, I must be doing something wrong. If I'm not doing something wrong, why isn't this working? Because it's working for other people, or it worked before, or by all accounts, it should work. And to work can mean like for different purposes, right? It's not always just for just more views. But yeah, it was disheartening for sure to like see the numbers drop. Like my sub count kept going up and all other numbers kept dropping. And that is so, it makes you feel a little insane after a while, because you like start questioning how you see everything. Need to go. Bye, Dr. Cursor. Well, thank you. And yeah, I'll see you when I see you. Might do. So yeah, Nebula partnership would for sure be nice. But I'm not sure that would be a good deal for them. Which I probably shouldn't care about as much. But yeah. I saw your message, Jonathan. I was just thinking about playing something else with you guys, because I don't really feel like Gartic Phone, but I might, if enough people are into it, we might play Jackbox. Let me just download both so we have options. By the way, what about your second gaming channel? Do you plan to post something there? I have a whole list on Steam of like streaming games. But I just haven't had the impetus to be like, yeah, today I'm going to stream. And with that channel especially, I refused to ever put myself into the state for that channel to be like, I have to. Which you have to do that in order to go anywhere. But the gaming channel has always been and will always be, right now it's the same as for DFE, but it used to be different. Just a pure hobby thing of, I want to share the experience of playing this game with people. So, yeah, I might. Nothing's in the works as of now. I will show up when I show up. I know that's not ideal. I know that's not the best way to go about it, but that's just yeah, how that channel works. Compare German to Norwegian and Finnish. So German and Norwegian are both Germanic languages. Finnish isn't. Finnish belongs to a very small language family that it shares with at least living languages. I think there's there's Hungarian and there's Estonian and Finnish. Those three belong to the same language family, that being Uralic. And since Uralic is or Euro-Finnic, I think there's different terms for it. And you might notice in that there is the word Ural, which is Ural, which is the mountain chain in Russia. And so there's a few ethnic groups in Russia whose languages also belong to that. So minority languages whose languages also belong to that group. So Finnish is way away from German and Norwegian. Exactly, Finnish is Uralic. So the only relatives as for national languages that Finnish has are Hungarian and Estonian, and then, like I said, a few minority languages. And Hungarian is actually a bit more removed from the two just because it's geographically further away, so it developed a bit differently. But those three are related. German and Norwegian are related, not so closely that it's like interchangeably understandable. For that, you would have to go as far as Danish. Like Danish and Norwegian are fairly what do you call it? Intermutable? I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't remember. I don't understand was directed at something I was seeing in chat. I don't I think it's intermutable. I don't know. Whatever. So mutually understandable. So a Norwegian and a Danish person with decent language knowledge, not in the sense of like studied language, but like a good grasp on their own language, and maybe a small idea of the other, can talk to each other fairly easily. I think it's similar to like somebody who speaks Spanish and somebody who speaks Italian natively. They're just very close. So they're obviously not the same, and there's going to be words that are different, but overall very easy to learn. And then German is a bit further away from that. German is closer to Dutch, but German and Dutch aren't as close as Norwegian and Danish would be. I hope that helps. English, by the way, is also technically a Germanic language, but because there was so much influence from Celtic first, and then Celtic languages, and then a lot of Latin, and then, more Germanic, like, so the Vikings put a lot of influence into English, and then French. So English is relatively far away from the other Germanic languages now, but technically also a Germanic language. I feel like I talk about this every stream. Not that I mind. The history of English is fascinating. Finally caught a stream. I've been watching you for I think 2 years, so glad to actually chat. Hey, so you joined after the hiatus started, Henrik. That is fun. Like, I mean, it's fun for me that somebody would become a follower during the hiatus. I can assume so, because at the end of the day, the content you produce is in a way part of you. You obviously want it to be successful. Yeah. You put yourself out there. And this might be to varying degrees. But yeah, there's a lot of you in what you produce. At the very least, it's a lot of effort and thought. So it just always sucks when, especially, I think it's harder when you already have reached a certain level of success, whatever that means to you, than to start from scratch. Because at the beginning, I think you don't expect much. At least you shouldn't. If you expect to immediately be successful, that's just kind of setting yourself up to burn out. But if you establish a certain level and then you sink below that, that's really disheartening. It can easily happen, but it's still disheartening. And you're so alone with it too. It's not like you're not part of a company or something. It's like you. Like I've never made enough money to like establish a team, because I never would have wanted to like pay people pennies. So I would have actually had to make the decision to make this like a full running business with the willingness to like lose money at first. And that was never the attitude I approached this with. So then, especially if it's all a one woman show with like, I had a little